Everyone, this is Reddit 9 to 5, and I am bringing you an episode of I Don't Work Here Lady, where OP is mistaken for an employee. The first one is called Blind and Dumb Karen versus 15-year-old by Viper Commander. This is my first post on this subreddit. I don't know the rules or regulations here if there are any, but I'll follow what others have done here. So for context, I'm a 15-year-old male. 5'9" and rapidly growing. I'm so fluent in English that some mistake me for a foreigner because I'm taller than average. Others also think I'm an employee, but I explained that I don't work here and I'm a minor just getting stuff for mom to pay. Most understand. Most. So, on to the story. So this happened a few weeks back. I can remember most of the events, but some details I forget, so forgive me. I'm picking out stuff for the supermarket in the mall, wearing basketball shoes, pants, polo t-shirt, and wearing a black jacket. I'm wearing headphones, listening to music from Spotify on my phone, picking out stuff to bring to my mom. Now, the supermarket where I'm picking up stuff is quite popular for foreigners. Located in a small town, most of us know each other. So, picking out some stuff from the shelf, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. Thinking it's my mom, I turn around and take my headphones, but oh no, it is not my mom. A Karen is in front of me with a typical look. She's wearing jogging shoes, jogging pants, a sweater, and a cap facing backwards. Now, the following convo goes something like this. Hey, do you know where the coffee aisle is? Yes, it's about 2 aisles to your right. No, it isn't. I looked there earlier and there was no coffee. Oh, well, okay. I'll just call one of the employees to bring you some coffee from the boxes. No, I don't want to wait that long. You do it. Pardon? You bring down the coffee. Ma'am, I'm not an employee here. I'm not even 18. Don't make excuses. I know you work here. I don't pay for those products to give a paycheck to employees like you. Employees are wearing black shoes, black pants, green shirt, and an apron, and a green cap. Ma'am, I'm not an employee here. As I said, I'm only 15, and I'd like to finish getting stuff for my mom to pay. No, you're going to help me, or I'll get your manager. At this point, I've had enough, so I put my headphones and start walking away. Karen decides to yank my headphones from my head, damaging the left lobe to the point it's attached to the headphone via the wires. What the heck, lady? Where's your manager? I want to speak with him. How many times do I have to say this? I'm not an employee here. I don't have the nameplate nor the uniform. Give me your manager so I can get you fired. I told you many times, I don't work here. Are you blind, deaf, or both? Karen then proceeds to slap me and starts pulling me by my jacket sleeve. I did get free and start screaming, berating her to the point she leaves, and I said to myself, finally, it's over. Or so I thought. About 30 minutes later, some lady shows up again, this time with someone I presume is the manager. Karen goes, There! That's him! That's the employee that assaulted me! I want him fired right this instant! Ma'am, what? He isn't an employee, he's just a regular here. Karen then proceeds to start shouting at the manager, screaming racism at me at every opportunity. And as a crowd started to form, my mom, who was looking for me, finally sees the commotion. What happened to you? Then I tell her everything that happened. Karen is finally seeing she isn't getting anything out of the manager, walks over to me and grabs me by my shirt's collar and starts pulling me toward the manager. Here, I've truly had enough. I pull her hand and start beating her head into one of the shelves out of pure anger. I'm autistic, so you can see how much this played out. After landing a gut punch, my mom pulls me away and Karen starts screaming, saying to get the police, her lawyer, the local judge. Now, some people in the crowd attempt to defend Karen's actions, with the manager defending me after 10 to 15 minutes. The police arrive and take the statement of me, the manager, Karen, and my mom. The bystanders as well, and check the security footage showing I was dragged against my own will, and that she did in fact assault me first. My mom shows an ID of mine proving I am 15 years of age, and the police then arrest her. One of the officers asked if I want to press charges, and I happily agree. She is charged with child battery, child endangerment, property damage, assault, and resisting arrest. She kicked an officer in the leg. Now, you think this would be the end, but there's still more to the story. Last week we went to court, and the judge happens to be my substitute class teacher. Karen got a cheap lawyer, and she and her lawyer denied the charges. And after presenting the evidence, the trial was done in 3 hours. She was sentenced to pay a fine of about $300 and the prison sentence of about 5 years. I'm sorry this is a long one, but I thought I'd share it. First off, OP, I just want to say I'm really glad you didn't get any charges placed on you for assaulting the Karen. Even though you were defending yourself, that still could have easily happened without the camera footage. I get that it was a spur of the moment type deal, but I actually have a friend of mine that was physically assaulted by a drunk girl at a bar, and he knocked her out cold with one punch. He grew up in the streets, but that's a story for a different day. The only reason he didn't get charged was because of two witnesses who happened to be sitting right next to him and saw the whole thing. But he still had to spend the night in jail while the girl got off scot-free. All in all, you have to be very careful when you get physical with someone, even if they deserve it, because it can always come back to haunt you. And on to the next story, Flip Flop Karen by Geolicious Wordsmith. Yesterday, I went to visit my son, daughter-in-law, and grandson to deliver some food my wife made. Lasagna, baby! When my wife makes lasagna, everybody gets some. Daughter-in-law is in bed, and she had hurt her back on Friday, and it was still giving her issues. Been there, done that, it sucks. I'm playing with my grandson, and my son mentions he's going to take him to the grocery store to pick up a few things, so daughter-in-law doesn't have to worry about going. Grandson is cutting molars and not in a very good mood. I offer to go with him to the store and expedite the process, as it is on my way home. We take separate cars and meet up. We start shopping and we are knocking it out. Me grabbing things and my son entertaining little cranky pants. We stopped in the pet food supplies aisle as he needed kitty litter. I grab it and leave, heading over to the dairy aisle. One more thing to get and we are out of here. The pet food aisle is set up as dog food supplies on one end, a cooler with fresh pet food, bird food, hamster food, etc., and then cat food supplies on the opposite end. While leaving the aisle, I did hear someone yell, "Hey!" but I pay it no mind. While walking into the dairy aisle, I heard a faint slap, 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 slap that is the unmistakable sound of flip-flops. We live in Florida, and flip-flops are a way of life. Hell, when it gets cold, there are still people who wear them, even with socks. Walking in the dairy aisle while still hearing the slap, slap, slap. Grab the butter and we're turning the quarter to head to the registers. Slap, slap, slap. Hey, stop running from me. I've been chasing you for 10 minutes. I need help. Where is... insert some random dog food. She was visibly out of breath. We both turn, and right away, she starts in about chasing us down, blah, blah, blah. But you could tell she was confused, as we were not dressed anywhere close to what employees wear, as they wear green uniforms. She kept staring at our shirts. Me with a Steppenwolf t-shirt, complete with a large wolf head, and my son with a Donkey Kong t-shirt. Not ready to admit defeat yet, she tried something else. At this moment, my grandson sticks his arms straight out and starts waving his hands around, saying, "No!" Yep, we both lost it and started laughing so hard we were in tears. Just said, "Don't work here," turned around and continued to the registers without incident. She stood there, mouth gaping. She ran down to the other end of the pet aisle, past 3 other aisles, then ran down the entire length of the dairy aisle in her flip-flops to chase down 2 men and a baby to ask about some random dog food. Is it bad that when he said slap, 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 I could just hear the sound of flip-flops echoing in my head? Ugh, what a sound. On to the next story. You're Really Just Going to Stand There? By Zizix the Summoner. I'm from South Louisiana, and we have a different way of interacting with people that differs from other southern states. I'm sure people know about Southern hospitality, but South Louisiana cracks this up to 11. Ask anyone who's ever been there. We don't care about race, religion, social, or economic status. If you're human, you are owed to be treated with kindness and empathy until you prove otherwise. I left Baton Rouge and moved to Katy, Texas for a teaching gig. It was Sunday, and I had to run to the Texas only big grocery chain to get a few things. Sunday was a big shopping day, and the place was packed with long lines waiting to check out. I walked to the closest line with my few groceries in my arms. This was before the prominence of self checkout, so no matter how much or how little you bought, you was still going to have to wait. It's just how things were. No biggie. The lady in front of me had to be in her 80s and no more than 95 pounds. Her buggy was absolutely filled to the top. The people in front of her were almost done checking out when I saw her struggling to pick up a bag of frozen chicken to place on the conveyor belt. She struggled again with another item and another and another. The cashier started ringing her up and simply stared at her with impatience while this poor old woman struggled and removed items from her buggy. I was like, WTF? I looked around and everyone was sighing with annoyance and impatience. The bagger, the cashier, the people behind me. Seriously? I placed my items down in the nearby drink refrigerator and asked the lady if she needed any help. With a brightness and joy in her eyes, she answered, please. I unloaded her buggy into the conveyor and placed the bag groceries in it as the bagger handed them to me. I was finished in no time. Smiled at the lady, picked my items back up, and got back into the line behind her. She paused for a minute. Evidently, she had been so flustered trying to place her groceries on the conveyor, she had never noticed me behind her. Wait, you don't work here? No, ma'am. I just thought you might appreciate a little help. She then gave me the biggest hug, and with tears in her eyes, she said, thank you so much. I smiled again and said, you're welcome. I followed her out to the vehicle and helped her load everything. She thanked me again and told me she dreaded going to the grocery store because it was so difficult for her, and people were always getting frustrated with her when she was checking out. I shook my head. That is sad. I'm sorry to hear about that. Back home, stuff like that doesn't happen. If someone needs help, we help them. She started to tear up again, hugged me, and thanked me. I told her to have a nice day and headed back to my truck. Man, when you see so many stories about crazy Karens abusing employees, it's actually kind of nice to see a wholesome story like this. Good on you, OP, for stepping up and being the bigger person here. I'm sure you made that old lady's entire day. And that's it for this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. This is Reddit 9 to 5, and if you like this content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I just started a new podcast, so if you'd like to support me, please visit one of the links down below. I would really appreciate your support, and it would mean so much to me to see you in my growing list of listeners. See you next time.